Greetings to everyone participating in the 18th International Conference on New Directions in the Humanities 2020. My name is Jacqueline Araya. My colleague Carla Fonseca and I work in the Foreign Language Department at Universidad Nacional Brunca Branch, which is located in the south region of Costa Rica. We will be explaining our study, The Importance of Linguistic Literacy in EFL Instruction. Teaching linguistics to students of the English teaching major is a challenge, but a very necessary part of their training program. The main purpose of the study of linguistics in an academic environment is the advancement of knowledge in the target language. Linguistics is important to language teachers for several reasons. Good theoretical bases help instructors explain the target language rules and processes in more straightforward fashion, facilitating student learning. It also enhances the teacher's professional development as they are able to devise strategies to cater to individual needs. The purpose of this study was to explore the role of linguistics courses in EFL instruction. A qualitative descriptive research was carried out among the senior students and professors of the English teaching major of Universidad Nacional Brunca Branch. The Bachelor's in English Teaching is a 4-year program incorporating 7 courses in linguistics. Students take 3 courses in English grammar, then General Linguistics 1 and 2, Phonetics and Phonology, and Morphology and Syntax. These are taught from the beginning of the 2nd year through the 1st semester of the 4th and last year. The findings of this study include the pros and cons of the teaching of specific linguistics courses to language learners in an EFL context. Results also show the importance of theoretical foundations for the professionalization of the future teachers. In general, the study shows that linguistic literacy is a key requirement for a well-rounded language instructor. My colleague Carla will tell you about the research questions which guided this study and the theoretical foundation.
The purpose of this study was twofold. On the one hand, we were interested in finding out what is gained by teaching linguistics to future EFL teachers. On the other hand, we wanted to know what challenges these courses pose to such learners. By doing a review of the literature on linguistics, we could identify valuable information about this topic. To begin with, Can and Aziz argue that teachers will identify, diagnose, and address students' errors more easily if they are linguistically equipped. This means that they will implement better teacher strategies in general. Cancer claims that linguistic knowledge is a prerequisite for teachers to transmit it to students in the classroom. In other words, they need to have a vast knowledge of the target language to explain concepts and rules clearly. However, linguistics courses are not very popular among students. As an illustration, Korea reported that in 2012, a Google search with the words linguistics and difficult gave over 13 million hits. A possible reason for this could be that students lack motivation or feel threatened by the pseudoscientific flavor of these courses. This is commonplace on our campus when senior students who are enrolled in the last linguistics course, Morphology and Syntax, don't remember basic concepts like allophone, morpheme, phonotactics, or morphological typology. It seems that it's the first time they come across such terms in others. Sometimes not even teachers acknowledge the value of linguistics. Holliday argued that educators demand an immediate payoff. That is to say, if they can't apply these ideas directly in their teaching, they won't see any benefits to this type of knowledge. To conclude this section, we would like to stress that, as several scholars have pointed out before, being a proficient language user alone is not enough. Good teaching combines both theory and practice, and thus knowing what and how is essential for a successful teacher.
In order to carry out the qualitative research, my colleague and I designed two questionnaires that we administered to both the senior students and the instructors of the English teaching major at Universidad Nacional Pérez Celedón campus and Coto campus. These questionnaires are very similar, with some logical variations in some of the questions. For the purposes of this study, we used 15 student questionnaires and 10 professor questionnaires. We decided to use a proportional sample of the responses we obtained. The questions in this instrument were aimed at assessing in some way how students and professors feel about the linguistic courses in the curricula of EFL teaching and how important they think linguistic literacy is for the language teacher. In the next slides, I will explain one by one the results and findings of both instruments, beginning with the student questionnaire and continuing with that of the professors. The results are presented as objectively and clearly as possible to depict the reality expressed in the opinions of the participants. In the first prompt, students had to complete the statement, "The good second language teacher must be someone who," and they had to rank the options given in order of importance. Results show that option C, explains contents and rules clearly, was favored over the others. 11 out of 15 students answered that it is the most relevant characteristic in a language instructor. Option E, knows how to engage students in the tasks and activities, came in second place with 9 checks, which altogether seems to suggest that pedagogical savoir-faire has a slight advantage over linguistic knowledge in the student's perspective. Question number 2 of the questionnaire asked the students to assess the value they would assign to the areas of the curricula in EFL teaching presented to them, which were 5. Pedagogy, linguistics, communication skills, literature, and culture. These 5 areas condense most of the contents and courses that they take in the 4 years of their major. The results reveal a great gap between areas such as pedagogy, linguistics, and communication skills on one hand, and literature and culture on the other, the last two being undervalued. More importantly, the answers show that students have a high regard of the role of linguistics in EFL teaching. Questions 3 and 4 sought to make students assess in very few words their performance and experience in the linguistics courses. This self-assessment is a worthy indicator which we believe contributes to explain some of the atmosphere of discomfort and dissatisfaction that has been characteristic during the lessons, as can be seen in the answers in Figure 3. Unfortunately, this feeling tends to be passed to the next generations from mouth to mouth, which usually sets a precedent even before the student is formally registered in the courses. From the students' answers to question 4, although a great majority think that the courses are necessary, there is a significant percentage that view the courses as stressful and unpleasant. This, the students explain, is due to the methodology used where too much importance is given to memorizing contents and to the difficulty of such contents. Overall, the results obtained in this survey with EFL professors show a more balanced, less contentious outlook on the value of both linguistics and pedagogy, indicating that there should not be a dichotomy at all, as the results from the student survey seem to reveal. In question 1, for example, 80% of the participants agreed that all of the characteristics listed should be present in a good language teacher, with the slight advantage of knowing how to engage students in tasks and activities over the other choices. Figure 6 reveals the answers to question 2 of the instructor's questionnaire, which aimed at ranking the areas of the curricula of EFL teaching. It must be brought to attention that even though most of the teachers answer that all of the abilities are important, some of them emphasize one or several above the others. Among the 5 possibilities, linguistics was favored, ranking in the #1 spot, and just like the findings in the students' questionnaire, literature and culture are considered to be minor areas in the curricula. Question 3 of the instrument for teachers was aimed at eliciting specific information about how each of the linguistics courses in the curricula helps the language learner. Being an open-ended question, our objective was more on the line of observing how much instructors know about each of these courses, considering that not all of them had taught them personally. Broadly, there is understanding of the relevance of subjects such as grammar, phonetics and phonology, and morphology and syntax. But somehow there is a blurred area in what General Linguistics 1 and General Linguistics 2 do in EFL instruction. One answer struck a chord when saying that in General Linguistic 1, undergraduates study linguistic matters in depth to be able to explain the language as professionals. Basically, every linguistics course is aimed at that. Despite the vagueness of the answer, this is true. Answers such as, in this course, the students will have a broader view of language, just go to prove that the professor is barely aware of the purpose and objectives of the course. However, not everything is strawberries and cream. One professor participant responded regarding morphology and syntax that regular students of the EFL program don't find any use in this course. Comments like this are not surprising, for authors like Bardo, 1972, have argued that some instructors give little evidence of much or any exposure to concepts deriving from linguistics. Many teachers of second languages do not know an allophone from a telephone, a grammatical transformation from an ecclesiastical reformation, or a sentence pattern from a holding pattern. Nonetheless, this is alarming because every instructor expects to have students who are interested in learning, and hearing that, as a professor, I am about to teach a course for which students think there is no use, is profoundly worrying and upsetting. Question 4 and 5, just like in the student instrument, asked about the importance of linguistics and how it complements the pedagogical courses in the major. 100% of the surveyed professors responded that there is no doubt that linguistic knowledge is central in the curricula of EFL teaching. Through linguistic awareness, the instructor can better understand the learning process that students are going through, explain and model rules and sounds to the students, and cater to specific language needs and deficiencies. Most of the answers stress that there shouldn't be a dichotomy between linguistics and pedagogy in the sense that a language instructor must be an expert in both areas. Instructors claim the two are important because one teaches the what and the other the how. However, those who favor linguistics over pedagogy argued that as a language instructor, one needs to know about the language in order to teach it, and that having formal education on teaching did not seem necessary for them to become successful teachers. We think that this is a debate and a topic for a different research.
Therefore, we can conclude that linguistic knowledge is relevant for future EFL teachers because it promotes a deep understanding of how language works. It gives tools to describe and analyze language processes, and knowing about linguistics also enhances the student teacher's professional development as they gain more confidence to cater to students' individual needs in the classroom. With regard to the challenges of teaching linguistics to EFL learners, there are basically 4 aspects that we would like to refer to. The first one is the subject matter of the courses. There are theoretical concepts with which learners begin to familiarize since the first linguistics course, General Linguistics 1. But as far as the last course, Morphology and Syntax, they don't seem to remember. They are expected to know how to apply such concepts in their analysis of cases and research projects. However, they do not feel confident enough to use this terminology appropriately and accurately. Another factor that makes teaching linguistics a hard task is the students' aptitude and attitude. EFL students seem to have a preference for courses which allow them to be more creative and interactive. And as they said so themselves in their answers in Instrument 1, linguistics courses are overloaded with unknown contents that force them to resort to memorization. Some students excel without much effort or application, yet for many it takes long hours of study and work to barely get by. Sometimes a failure in the early linguistics courses of the program predisposes students to try to aim at excellence because they have lost confidence. The student's academic load, especially the amount of work for the full-time student in the 4th level, seems to be overwhelming during the first semester because it is at this moment that they have to do their teaching practicum. Morphology and syntax is part of the 7th semester. This stage in their program takes a toll on the performance and grades of those students who struggle to balance all their responsibilities and tasks. The fourth reason why teaching linguistics may become difficult is the resources available for practice and research. Linguistics and all of its branches study phenomena associated with variation of different nature. At an undergraduate level, research is conducted with some personal and external limitations. Students struggle with writing theoretical backgrounds, applying field study methodology, stating qualitative and quantitative results, and for those reasons, an accommodation of requirements and demands must be made before and during the process. In addition, the school resources for data gathering student trips are limited, and funds for necessities such as food and lodging are available only for overnight trips, not for one-day outings. Being a small country, Costa Rica does not provide many opportunities for undergraduate students to undertake linguistic variation research suitable for their level. This may explain why some research topics are recurring or professors have to switch to bibliographical research instead of field work. On behalf of my colleague Jacqueline Araya, we would like to thank you for having us in this great conference. This is our contact info. Feel free to write in case you have questions or comments. Thank you very much. Enjoy this conference.